Malik's First Job, Financial Principles for Teens, is an excellent resource to get your children started on understanding the basics of financial literacy. This book, which is set in Brownsville, Brooklyn, about a young man who gets his first job and then shortly thereafter sits down with his dad to learn how to manage his money. There are several topics that are covered within this work, such as paying yourself first, disciplining your spending, knowing the difference between an asset and a liability, creating multiple sources of income, as well as the importance of being charitable. So again, if you want to get your children started on understanding finance and becoming responsible adults, we highly recommend that you purchase the book, Malik's First Job, Financial Principles for Teens. So please visit maliksfirstjob.com to get more information. Peace. Peace, what's going on? Have you ever wanted to get involved in real estate wholesaling, but just didn't know how? Well, my good friend Chris Jefferson has a whole course that he offers that teaches you all the ins and outs of real estate wholesaling. Look below in the show notes, you'll see a link that you can click on where you can get more information about the course in which he offers. Show you how to get started in real estate wholesaling, how to get leads, how to promote yourself online. So definitely look below in the show notes, click on the link, get more information, and learn how to build your business. All right? Take care. Peace.
Malik's First Job Podcast, here to answer any questions that y'all ask. Financial literacy and resources. Parents and young people becoming bosses. CEOs, future leaders, entrepreneurs. Conferences and boardrooms getting sponsors secured. If you want generational wealth, Brooklyn's own Kerwin Phillip with information to help. Malik's First Job Podcast. Malik's Podcast. Brooklyn's own Kerwin Phillip. Kerwin Phillip. Malik's First Job Podcast. Podcast. Brooklyn's own Kerwin Phillip. Generational wealth.
Hey, peace everyone, how you doing? This is Kerwin Phillip here with another episode of the Malik's First Job Podcast, where we discuss leadership, entrepreneurship, and financial literacy for parents and teens. Today I got a good friend of mine who's a new author, released a book on mortgages. He will share some insight on his background in the mortgage industry, as well as his motivation to write his new book. I got my good brother here, Mr. Brian Johnson, native of native of Trenton, New Jersey, but now resides here in Richmond, Virginia. And he's going to talk about his new book, the Home Saving Bible. All right, so Brian, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, Kerwin, man? Thank you for having me today, man. Thank you.
All right, cool.
Bless you.
All right, so for people who aren't familiar with you, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Oh man, I'm Brian Johnson. I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. Born and raised. Moved down to Virginia about when I was in 9th grade, man. But my career always been in finance, man. As a kid, I always loved finances, man. And I was able to get myself into that opportunity at a young age, man. And once I got my foot in the door, man, I kind of just took it from there, man. So, yeah.
Okay. So what was it about finance that really, grabbed your attention?
About finance, what grabs my attention, man. My dad used to always tell me, man, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. And I started to get into the financial section. I eased on into the credit card business and just kind of, learn from there. Wanted to grow from there, man, to become more financial savvy, know how to manage my money a little better, know how credit cards work. And, as an 18-year-old, that information was kind of big to transition us down for the future.
Right. So you said you started off in credit cards. Did you work for like a credit card company, or what was that experience?
Oh man, that experience was a great experience, man. As a kid coming out of high school at 18 and landing a job with Circuit City, which is called their FNAMI, First North American National Bank, it was actually dealing with their credit card. So customer service, I started in customer service where customers call in about their balance, removing late charges and stuff like that. Just wanted inquiries and questions answered pertaining to their account. So once I started there in the customer service, I kind of liked it, and my work ethic was pretty superb as far as the management was concerned. And I was able to move over to collections and advance from there.
Okay, great. So now, so you saw from credit cards, and how did that credit card experience, what was that journey like from going from there into mortgages?
I mean, it was more like a gradual step up, because with credit cards, that was just dealing with credit cards itself. And as I went
Right.
into the collections world of collecting on those credit card bad debts, that kind of opened up I guess, the opportunity for me to move over into different areas with dealing with collections. Being that I'd already collect on a credit card, now I believe in you to where you could possibly collect on this past due balance on a home. So that's how it transitioned from the credit card aspect over into the mortgage business when I started working with SunTrust, collecting on their past due mortgage accounts. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what was the time span between the time you had a credit card job to when you moved into SunTrust?
Oh man, that time span was, I would say, from like 2001 to about 2005. I moved
Okay.
over into SunTrust, and actually with SunTrust, you said everything's a stepping stone, man, and that's what I like to tell people, man. Each skill is going to set you up for the next level, for you to be able to move forward in life. And what I mean by that, stepping stones and degrees. Customer service was the first degree. That was my first stepping stone. But then once I
Okay.
got the collections up under my belt, I was able to go over to SunTrust and do a more of a hardcore collecting. And what I mean by hardcore collecting, these was the accounts where borrowers charged off. And what I mean by charged off, meaning they didn't pay for a certain period of time, meaning more than 12 months. So the
Okay.
bank just wrote it off. The bank just wrote it off. And the bank still would like to collect on those. So that's a more of a hardcore collecting, because these are customers that made a decision, I'm not paying, and you still had to, convince them into making that payment. So once I got into that hardcore collecting, then it was time to gradually move into the next world, and that's what bumped me into loss mitigation with dealing with
Okay.
mortgages.
Okay. Now, I guess from 2005 to the current day, that's I guess that's the time span you've been in mortgage.
I would say in the financial sector and in mortgages, going over about 18, 19 years. Man.
Okay. Okay.
Going on
Okay.
20 years. Yeah.
Okay. And what are some of the things that you've seen? I know you've probably seen a lot, right? So what are like some of the things that are kind of your experience, the things that you saw that kind of motivated you to want to write the book that you put out recently?
Oh man, what I've seen was that a lot of people, thousands of people, losing their homes due to lack of knowledge. There's financial help that's out there, but unfortunately, we're not privy to, or not, or don't trust the mortgage company that they're going to be in our best interest. So as I started to see through the 2008 financial crashes, as house started to plummet, I've seen a lot of houses go into foreclosure, man, and we would send out several notices to borrowers, letting them know, hey, there's assistance available, but they just didn't know, man, and that's what really had me hunker down and write this book, because I didn't see anything out there like this. There was only
Okay.
books out there teaching people how to get the home through first-time home buyer classes, or through a
Right.
first-time home buyer. They're teaching people how to capitalize on people's downfalls through foreclosure, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there was nothing teaching people, if I'm having financial help, what's out there to help me keep the home. And that's why I took my 20 years of mortgage experience, of knowledge that people are not privy to, the regular clients not privy to, and kind of embed that in the book based upon their investor guidelines.
Okay. And I guess, when did you start writing this book?
When did I start writing? I started writing this book March of 2022.
Okay. Wow. So you started writing the book this year.
Yeah, this year, and I was able to complete it, have it edited and published by August of 2022. So within
Wow.
5 months, I was able to write this book by the grace of God, man. I had to give thanks to God, man, because without him, he the one who put the spirit on me to help me, fulfill this mission and put this out. That's why it's called the Home Saving Bible, because the vision came from him for me to fulfill, to bring it to this world.
Wow. So what are like some of the hardships, I guess, that people are having that kind of sets them behind in their mortgage payments?
Oh man, there's so many things that can be a hardship, man. It could be a financial, it can be medical expenses. You got
Mm-hmm.
hurt and you had to, go to the hospital, pay medical bills or pay for medication. Those are the type of things that can add an additional hardship or an additional expense to your household, which impacts your inability to pay your mortgage. Those are
Right.
options out there available for homeowners that are experiencing those type of things. You also have people
Right.
going through marital difficulties. And what I mean by marital difficulties, sometimes when you go through that situation, there's only one income in the household now. Your income is not the same. So what can I do to help me keep my home? Where there's options out there available for people who now been through a divorce situation and only receiving one income. Another one they have is unemployment. There's a lot of people. Right now we're going through pandemic. We're going through a recession. There's assistance out there to help these individuals who are unemployed to help save their home if they're able to if they're unable to pay their mortgage payment. So those are just a few. There's several, but I can continue to keep going on. That's a few.
Okay. So, like you said, people. There's a lot of information out there about first time home buyers programs, and how to get a house, right? And you're kind of speaking from the other end, in case things turn left, how you can save yourself from losing the house, right? But I guess a piece of that is that what can people do, I guess, early on to kind of prevent, I guess, and to prepare in case things go left. What can people do to kind of safeguard themselves if, let's say, they have an unexpected, healthcare issue, or, some type of, marital difficulties, or if they lose their job? What should people, be doing to prepare themselves in the event of a crisis?
Well, first thing they need to do is go out and buy the Home Saving Bible, Retaining Wealth Through the Pandemic, on Amazon.com. The reason why, because that book is going to be their insurance. So whenever they're having the financial hardship, they can easily look in that book and see, well, what type of hardship do I have? What's my investor? And it would tell them the options that the investor has or the bank must abide by or must offer them in order to help keep their mortgage. But the first thing they must do is contact their mortgage company. But again, if they have that Home Saving Bible, they already know what they're going to come up against. But they contact their mortgage company. More than likely, the mortgage company is going to tell them to complete a financial package. In that financial package, it's going to require them to complete. It's going to require them to complete the package and also provide pay stubs, bank statements, tax returns, hardship documentation, and a hardship letter. So that's one of the first things they must do is contact their mortgage company. Reason being, because just because they're not past due doesn't mean that they don't see themselves going past due. And what I mean by that, a job may say your hours are being reduced, overtime is being reduced. Well, you've been basing your lifestyle on that overtime. Well, right now, being that overtime is getting reduced, and you're going to fall past due. That's called imminent default. It's imminent that you're going to default. So by you completing that package, showing proof to your bank that, hey, this is my situation, then those are the tools that they can help you retain your mortgage.
Okay. All right. Any other tips, that you can provide on that?
I mean, there's so much information I can provide on that, man. There's levels to it. What I mean by there's levels to when you contact the bank, there's options that it's a hierarchy that a bank must do. So for instance, if you say that I had a reduction in income and I'm unable to afford my mortgage payment, well, first thing they're going to want to see proof that you can't that you want to see proof that why you can't afford it. Show them a bill, an unexpected medical expense that just came in that's impacting your ability to pay. So that's the thing. And once you send in that information, the tip is the bank just can't jump to one option because you want it. No. They have to abide by the investor rules. And what I mean by investor, there's investors such as FHA, there's Fannie Mae, there's Freddie Mac, there's VA, and there's USDA loans, right? Those are the companies that tells the bank, hey, being that you're servicing my loan, if my borrower has financial help, these are the options you must offer them to help them keep the home, okay? The first option in the waterfall for somebody that's unemployed is called a forbearance. That forbearance is going to suspend their mortgage payment up to 3 to 12 months. See, a lot of they won't tell you that. But that's called a special forbearance where they can suspend your payment up to 3 to 12 months, allowing you time to obtain employment. And then once you start receiving pay stubs again, restructure your loan. So that's one. You got your forbearance. And then once the forbearance, they go into what is called retention options. And retention options will be something where you're trying to retain the property. That's what retention means. retain the property. And that's going to be, they're going to start off with a repayment plan. They're going to see, based upon the income you have, can you bring this account up to date within 6 months with your current payment and the payments that are past due? If you can't afford that, then they're going to take it to the next option, and that's the modification path. And then if you're unable, if you don't qualify for a modification, Kerwin, they're going to actually take you down what is called liquidation. And liquidating, unfortunately, is when they're trying to convince you it's time to sell the property because you can't afford it, or in order to avoid foreclosure.
Okay. All right. So I know recently, I guess, we went through the whole pandemic where people were, a lot of people lost their jobs and, things of that sort. How did that pandemic impact the mortgage industry?
I mean, when the pandemic happened, it shook the mortgage industry up in the shambles. They were not ready for these borrowers to be in a position where they couldn't make their mortgage payment. So that's one of the reasons why Congress came out with the CARES Act that says, hey, if my borrowers are experiencing unemployment and they say they've been impacted by COVID and they can't make the payment, suspend their payments. And that's one of the things that happens. If the borrower asks for their payments to be suspended back in March of 2020, their payments were suspended up to 18 months. If they came after that, after January 2020, then now the max time is 12 months. So, and right now, Kerwin, if you're impacted by COVID and can't make your payments, it's going on right now. So if a borrower is experiencing financial difficulties, they can call up their mortgage payment and say, hey, I've been impacted by COVID, and get their payments suspended up to 12 months. And then after that 12 months is over, they're going to take those months that are past due and just attack it on to the end of your mortgage, and you just start clean with your same regular monthly payment.
Okay. And now, is that the same for, I know there's a lot of people who are like homeowners that were like renting out their homes, and their tenants, right? Of course, they were impacted due to the pandemic, and these homeowners couldn't make their mortgage payments because, again, their tenants weren't working. So does the bank take that into consideration as well? The fact that this house is being rented out and the homeowners are being impacted?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's like a whole other layer to it as well.
That's right. Most definitely. They did expand upon tenant-occupied properties. Yes, they expanded upon that. And basically, if the tenant was unable to make the payment, then the landlord is the one, being that they're the owner of the property, contacted the mortgage company and say, hey, my tenant's been impacted by COVID, and then they were offered the COVID forbearance as well, up to 18 to 12 months. So it's also extended to tenant-occupied properties as well.
Okay. So are there like separate programs for that, or is that kind of all lumped into the same programs that the I guess the lenders or the lenders are speaking of?
Yeah, that's kind of all lumped into the same COVID forbearance CARES Act that Congress wrote out. Now, the only difference is when it's time for to reinstate your loan, meaning when it's time to bring it up to date, that's when the options of what they will offer a homeowner based upon versus a tenant property is going to be two different type of workouts, but they're all going to achieve the same outcome, which is bringing the client current in the end.
Okay, that's what's up. And again, a lot of this stuff is covered within the book as well, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Peace. What's going on? This is Kerwin Phillip from the Malik's First Job Podcast. Just a quick reminder, hit that subscribe button below and that notification bell. That way you never miss an episode when it drops. All right? Thank you all for supporting, and let's jump back into the conversation. Peace.
All right. So again, going through the book writing process, right? What was your process to put this book together? Because a lot of people out there, they want to write books, they have ideas, but how did you get started in writing and being able to put the book out within, like 6 months?
Oh man, how did I get? I could tell you one thing. It was very challenging. With 3 boys, going to work, wife in nursing school. So a lot of my writing happened in the late night hours. What I mean by the late night hours, it happened between 12 at night to almost 5 in the morning. I mean, there was days where I didn't go to sleep because I was just in there pounding the book like I got to get this done. And one thing I noticed, you got to plant yourself in something bigger than yourself. and I planted
Okay.
myself in the customer's shoes. There's a grandma out there that may need this information. There's an auntie, there's an uncle, there's somebody out here that needs this information to help save their home. So that was the fuel that fueled me to get this done within 5 months. Now, how that got done, like I said, it was just taking those late night blocks and just pushing myself to the max. So that's basically how it all started. I delved in. I went to YouTube. I put in some writing music. Put some headphones on, and just tuned in and start going to work. With the stories, man. So I can't tell you how these stories came about. Like I said before, I started writing. Every time I put a word on paper, I asked God to send the Spirit to me, man, and just let it flow through me. And I think that's how I wound up getting done within 5 months, by keeping God as my foundation.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So what was that soundtrack to help you put the book together?
What was the soundtrack?
What was in that playlist?
Oh man, it just just type something in on YouTube, writing music, man, and you'll see it out there. I'll tell you the clip later, Kerr, and I don't actually have the same clip, but when I see the thumbnail, I know what it is.
Oh, so is it like classical music or something like that, meditative type stuff?
Yeah, I would say this is more like meditative, classical type music that helped me get through it. No words, just straight melodies and going in.
Okay. Because the people have different motivations. Some folks, like myself, I know depending upon what I'm working on, I may throw on some Wu-Tang or something like that. Other moments, I need to focus in and really hone in. I may throw on like some Steve Halpern or some what's that? Stephen Gordon. Is it still Stephen Gordon? It's David Gordon music or something like that.
Nice.
So depending upon the mood I'm in, you may catch different vibes or whatever.
Nice.
So it's just checking in.
But one thing I do want to say, Kerwin, one thing, we got a lot of distractions in this world, right? One thing I can tell you that did help me write this book within five months, it wasn't just, me listening to that writing music. What drove me and what gave me the motivation was every day I listened to YouTube motivational content. And I listened to it every day, all day. I didn't listen to no music. All I listened to was straight motivational type of inspirational material. So nothing was able to infiltrate my mind to keep me to take me off course of getting this book done. As you know, when you listen to these motivational speeches, they keep fueling you. What are you doing this for? Who are you doing this for? And by that staying in my subconscious mind, that gave me the ability to, get it done within 5 months as well.
Wow. A lot of times people don't realize or don't pay attention to like the mental aspect, right? Or the mindset that's needed to get a particular goal accomplished, right? Because you had a goal of putting that book together and putting it out within a certain time frame. Now, how important, again, is that mindset? Can you speak to that a little bit? And being in that right mindset.
Oh, man, you asking a powerful question. Because one thing that really stuck with me, that fueled me to get this done within 5 months. And what I mean by mindset, I'm going to take a negative and turn it into a positive. You can pull negativity from stuff when you were a kid to fuel you today. So let me just take you to a story. I was probably in 7th grade at the time, and my dad had a parent-teacher conference with the teacher. And the teacher told me, hey, your son is an underachiever. And my dad believed in me so much that it hurt his heart, to hear. He knew what his son was capable of. He knew what he was able to do. So by me knowing that my teacher said that, and my dad felt that way, that took me to say, okay, I use that fuel every time that voice will pop in. You are underachiever. I'm gonna show you how overachiever I am, and that's the mindset that you've been in. Even Michael Jordan used that type of thing. Currently he'll use something that he thought somebody said, or he'll just make up in mind somebody said something bad to him. He could use that for fuel to move forward. So sometimes you can pull that negative energy to boost you one step further, or to keep you motivated to keep pushing forward.
Right. Now, do you feel that you are an underachiever back in that time?
I was a kid, 7th grade. I probably was a class clown. I believe I was probably a class clown. But I know within me that, once I got into the workforce, right? Once I got into the workforce, I knew my work ethic. I knew what I always wanted to do better. It was always, what's next? What's the next step? What's the next step? So from a school standpoint, possibly so. But once you got into the workforce, you start really coming into yourself and starting to know your abilities. Right. So no, right now I'm an overachiever. You ask me to get it done by Monday, you'll have it tomorrow.
No doubt. Right. So with the book being out now, what kind of, I guess, reception have you received so far? Like, what has the I don't say the audience, but what has the general public, how have they received the book so far?
I mean, the general public, they're loving the book, man. They saying this is one of the best sellers, especially has each chapter is relevant to a scripture within the Bible that can actually help motivate you or inspire you, in the morning or each day when you pick that up. As the God talks about inheriting the land, that's what the Home Saving Bible is basically about. This is your land, protect it. You just need the knowledge in order to understand how to keep it and protect it. So I get a lot of positive information upon that. I even get people I even get non-homeowners purchasing the book, because young people, when they do go out there and buy their first home, they want to be able to say, okay, if I have a financial hardship, what information can I use to help me keep my home if I'm unable to pay my mortgage? So again, this is a good book for not only homeowners, for people who potential homeowners in the future as well.
Okay. So what's next, right? So the book is out, people can go get it. Where do you see yourself in the next, 5 or 10 years?
Oh, next to 5 or 10 years, I plan on being on stages, man, teaching people this information, because it's not, again, a lot of people teach you how to get the home. A lot of people teach you how to, buy foreclosures, but nobody teaches people how to keep the home through these options that the investor imposes on the servicer. And that's why I think my niche comes into play, because I actually been in the trenches. I actually been interpreting investor guidelines for the last 20 years. I've been on a control end of a organization, helping them meet the investor compliance requirements. So I know everything what it takes from up to down. So looking to move forward, man. Maybe be in Ben Carson's shoes one day for HUD. You never know, man. Be in Congress.
Okay. That's what's up. So is there like a book 2 coming? Can we anticipate that as well?
Yeah, I can anticipate more likely a book 2 is coming, but in this book, it's going to be the deluxe. It's going to be how to obtain a home and also how to keep the home. So you have one all-inclusive book. So not only do I know how to go out there and get it, now I can keep it if I need it.
Okay.
How to keep it if I fall into financial hardship.
That's what's up. So for people who are that want to get the book, where can they get it from?
Oh man, they can go to Amazon.com. It's available on Amazon Prime. They can have it the next day. It come in paper, it come in the ebook, it come in paperback, and it come in hardcover. Available on Amazon.
Okay. Now, do you also do workshops for families as well?
I would love to do workshops. Haven't transitioned down that path yet, but it looks to be something in the future. I'm only just been doing one-on-one consultations with individuals, seeing how their financial situation is going, what information they need to complete outside the package in order to get them to the finish line.
Right. I know you're also the founder or owner of States Mortgage Consultants. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Yes, with States Mortgage Consultants is just kind of, the foundation of the book. So with States Mortgage Consultants, if you're unable to fill out the paperwork, or you having questions in regards to why I was denied a modification, or, I'm unemployed, I'm scared to call my bank because I'm scared if I tell them I'm unemployed, they're going to take my home, what's out there for me. So that's what States Mortgage Consultant is. We consult with the individuals, give them the confidence, empower them that they do have programs out there that are able to assist them when they're having financial hardship. But not only that, preparing them so when they do contact their mortgage company, that they have all the tools and the complete package when they submit it the first time, so they don't have to worry about any kickbacks down the line.
Right. And I think you touched on something very important, because oftentimes when people like they fall behind or they have a crisis or something going on, they're scared to contact their lender. Right? You may have somebody that's in credit card debt, someone that's in student loan debt, or someone that's in mortgage debt. Right? They fell behind and they are kind of like ashamed or apprehensive about contacting. But what people fail to realize is that it's very important for you to communicate during that time, because there's different, programs and options that these lenders have just for that particular situation that can help you. And they wouldn't know this unless you make that phone call.
That's right.
I remember. What's that?
Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
I was saying, I remember, years ago when I used to work for a rent-to-own company, and folks were, fall behind on their payments. We're at their door, trying, the account may be 3 or 4 weeks late. We're at their door ready to repossess the furniture. And they're like, well, I was going through this thing, I lost my job, and I said, well, why you tell us something? Give us a call, let us know, then we can let you know what options are available to you. But you're just not communicating. We don't know what's going on, and we got to do what we have to do. And the same thing falls in also other categories as well. Being getting credit cards, student loans, mortgages, whatever.
That's right. But a lot of things, and one thing I want to tell you, not all investors operate the same. If you got a Fannie Mae loan, your friend got a Fannie Mae loan, that doesn't mean they're going to get the same option you got because you have a Freddie Mac loan, right? So that's why it's very important to know your investor. Who is your investor on your loan? Just because you make a payment to Bank of America, that doesn't mean Bank of America is the investor.
Right.
Again, investor would be the FHA, VA. And it's very important that you try to complete that financial package the first time around. Because when you submit that package, the company's going to give you 30 days. They're going to review it within 5 days. That's a requirement. When you submit that package, it's a requirement that the bank has to review it within 5 days to say, hey, is your package complete or is it need any additional information? Okay? The bank's going to send you out a letter saying, hey, we still need X, Y, Z, meaning we still need pay stubs. We still need you to validate your hardship. You said your hardship was reduction of income. Well, show us that pay stub where it was reduced, right? So the bank is going to give you 30 days to provide that information. If you don't provide it within 30 days, then your account is going to get removed from process. And then that could kick you down the line and go to foreclosure. So it's very important that you do complete that package and provide the documentations based upon the timeline they have given you.
That's what's up. So for people that, just want to follow up with you after this interview, of course, they can go to the website, statesmortgageconsultants.com. But are you also on social media?
Yes, I'm also on Instagram, statesmortgageconsultants.com. I'm on Instagram at States Mortgage Consultants. Again, you can follow me on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn at States Mortgage Consultants. So those are a few of my platforms right there that they can contact me.
Okay, great. So anything you want to add on before we wrap up for today?
Just want to say, man, the Home Saving Bible, Retaining Your Wealth Through the Pandemic, it's all about protecting your wealth, man. It's all because sometimes our house is our number one asset in most cases, And like my dad said, it's not how much money we make, it's how much we keep. So if you wind up buying that home and you lose that home, that's almost, depending on how much your value of your property was, you just lost that. Okay. And there was ways that could have helped you to keep that home. So one thing I want to say, go buy the Home Saving Bible, man. Go ahead and get that insurance. Read through it. Educate yourself. So that way, when the storm does come, you already know the tools that's out there and what the mortgage servicer must do to help you. And if you don't need it, maybe there's a family member that may need this information. There may be a cousin that may need this information, right? Because a lot of people don't tell you that they're having financial difficulties. They don't tell you that I didn't make my mortgage payment this month. Right. So let this be the guide, the comprehensive guide to navigate our community to help them empower one another when we have financial hardships and can't make our mortgage payment.
That's what's up. And there's one more question I want to ask before we wrap up. Now, in the process of you writing this book, what did you learn about yourself?
In the process of writing this book, one thing I learned about myself is that once I'm committed to something, I do get it done. Another thing that I overcome challenges. Because as you're going through the editorial, as you're going through, when you write a book, you think once it's complete and you finish that manuscript that it's clean. But you send it to that editor and they rip it apart, right? You send it to the editor and they rip it apart. And you're so invested in your writing is that you don't want to eliminate anything. So one of the main things it it showed that I am collaborative, that I am willing to understand other people's perspective and make the proper adjustments.
Right.
And it really showed me that this book is really needed out there, man. Because as I start to talk to people and to say, hey, did you know if you go unemployed, the bank suspend your payment up to 12 months? And their homeowners, they're clueless. They're like, huh?
Wow.
I lost the home to foreclosure. I wish I would have known this sooner. So by me
Right.
creating this book, it really just gave me the validation, and I would say I had the right word for it, but the confirmation from God that this is what needed to be put out there to help our community.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I want to say, man, thank you for putting this book together. Again, it's going to help save a lot of families and save a lot of homes. Because again, this is information that our community needs. Because again, information is key. Get out of certain traps that we're in. So,
That's right.
Thanks again, for coming on. I wish you much success in the work with the book. And we still got to get on that golf course, brother. I mean, we supposed to be
That's right.
Playing some golf some years ago. Sometimes we still gotta make it happen. Is that the golf course that was on Lakeside? Are they back open yet? I know there was some repairs up there.
I think this was at Belmont. This was at the the crossings
Yeah.
right behind Citizen. Yep, over there.
Okay.
Yep. So I gotta get you out there, man. I love golfing, man. So come on out, girl.
Yeah. I bought some clubs. I got some clubs from like the Goodwill or something, and then when I was moving, and I ended up selling them, ended up flipping them actually, because I took them to I bought them from Goodwill, probably paid like $20-something. They took it to like one of those sports consignment shops. They probably got like 50 or 60 for them. So I made a little quick flip, Nice. But I need to get them back. I mean, because again, we need to get out there, and get on that green and make it happen.
Yeah, thank you, Kerwin. I mean, so before I go, any tips you got for me, man? I know you've been doing your book for quite a while, man, with the, educating teens on financial literacy. Is there any advice you have for me, man, moving forward?
Oh, man, just go where the people are, you have to, go out there and meet people, and get on your grind. It's not easy. You got to, it's blood, sweat, and tears is behind it. You know what I mean? But just you go where the people are. Because that's where your customers are. Any type of events. Just make sure you're there. Some type of presence. If you can't set up as a vendor, go out there with business cards. Just pass them out. Connect with with your niche. Connect with real estate. People who buy and sell houses. Because again, you want to talk to the homeowners. You from Jersey, you from up north. You gotta get the hustle on. Pretty much.
Right. That's right.
So this, and again, it's your product. I mean, it's your book, and nobody's gonna put more effort into your book than you. So you gotta put that grind in. It's the same focus and determination you put the book together and release it. You got to put more to even keep promoting it and get it out there. Because there'll be days where, you have your good days, you have your bad days. Like some days you may sell 50 to 100 books. Another day you may not sell anything. You may go through a spell not selling any books. But having that focus and knowing what your why is. Like the same why that you had that made you write the book is the same why that has to sustain you as you continue to promote the book and get it in people's hands.
That's right. Powerful information, powerful guidance.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course, connect with people, collaborate, find ways that, you can kind of cross promote with other people, because everybody's out there trying to make it happen, but you got to do it by yourself.
That's right. You need a team, man. You can't do it by yourself.
That's exactly right.
And to go back to one of your questions, you said, what did you learn about yourself when you wrote this book?
Mm-hmm.
Learn you can't do it by yourself.
Exactly.
It took everybody to play a part. It took the cover designers. It took your editor. It took your proofreader. It took your layout designers. It took all those people to collaborate to make this, to make your idea manifest into reality. I should
Exactly.
say,
Exactly. The people that you know and those who you don't know, because even the people who put that music out on YouTube that helped bring you that focus, they helped you as well.
That's right.
You know what I
Didn't
mean?
even know it. You're right.
They didn't even know it, right? So it's from different areas, different segments to help make this thing happen, man. But again, man, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you. And like I said, we're gonna connect soon.
Definitely.
We're gonna connect soon.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you, brother. Keep
No
moving
doubt.
forward.
You as well. You as well.
Generational wealth.